All right. 31. For ours is the possession, if we are indeed orators, if we are to be consulted as persons of authority and leaders in the civil contests and perils of the citizens and in public councils, ours, I say, is the entire possession of all that wisdom and learning upon which, as if it were vacant, and had fallen into them, men abounding in leisure have seized, taking advantage of us, and either speak of the orator with ridicule and sarcasm, as Socrates in the Gorgias, or write something on the art of oratory in a few little treatises, and call them books on rhetoric, as if all those things did not equally concern the orator, which are taught by the same philosophers on justice, on the duties of life, on the establishment and administration of civil government, and on the whole systems of moral and even natural philosophy. These matters, since we cannot get them elsewhere, we must now borrow from those very persons by whom we have been pillaged, so that we apply them to the knowledge of civil affairs to which they belong, and have a regard, nor let us, as I observed before, consume all our lives in this kind of learning, but when we have discovered the fountains, which he who does not find out immediately will never find at all, let us draw from them as much as occasion may require, as often as we need. For neither is there so sharp a discernment in the nature and understanding of man that any one can desire things of such importance unless they are pointed out, nor yet is there so much obscurity in the things that a man of penetrating genius cannot obtain an insight into them if he only direct his view towards them. As the orator, therefore, has liberty to expatiate in so large and immense a field, and wherever he stops can stand upon his own territory, all the furniture and embellishments of eloquence readily offer themselves to him. For copiousness of matter produces copiousness of language, and if there be an inherent dignity, the subjects on which he speaks, there should be, from the nature of the thing, a certain splendor in his expression. If the speaker or writer has but been liberally instructed in the learning proper for youth, and has an ardent attachment to study, and is assisted by natural endowments, and exercised in those indefinite questions on general subjects, and has chosen at the same time the most eloquent writers and speakers to study and imitate, he will never, be assured, be instruction from such preceptors how to compose or embellish his language so readily in an abundance of matter will nature herself, if she be but stimulated, fall without any guide into all the art of adorning eloquence. 32. Catullus here observed, Ye immortal gods, what an infinite variety, force, and extent of matter have you, Crassius, embraced, and from how narrow a circle have you ventured to lead forth the orator, and to place him in the domains of his ancestors? For we have understood that those ancient masters and authors of the art of speaking considered no kind of disputation to be foreign to their profession, but were always exercising themselves in every branch of oratory. Of which number of Hippias of Elis, who, when he came to Olympia at the time of the vast concourse at the game celebrated every 5th year, boasted, in the hearing of almost all Greece, that there was no subject in any art or science of which he was ignorant, as he understood not only those arts in which all liberal and polite learning is comprised, geometry, music, grammar, and poetry, and whatever is said on the natures of things, the moral duties of men, and the science of government, but that he had himself made with his own hand the ring which he wore, and the cloak and shoes which he had on. He indeed went a little too far, but even from his example we may easily conjecture how much knowledge those very orators desired to gain in the most noble arts, when they did not shrink from learning even the more humble. Why need I allude to Prodeus of Chios, Travesmachus of Calydon, or Protagoras of Abdera? Every one of whom in those days disputed and wrote much even on the nature of things, even Gorgas of Lentine himself under those advocacy as Plato represented. The orator yielded to the philosopher, who was either never defeated in argument by Socrates, and then the dialogue of Plato is wholly fictitious, or if he was so defeated, it was because Socrates was the more eloquent and convincing, or as you term it, the more powerful and better orator. But this Gorgias, in that very book of Plato, offers to speak most copiously on any subject whatever that could be brought under discussion or inquiry. And he was the first of all men that ventured the demand, and in a large assembly, on what subject anyone desired to hear him speak, and to whom such honors were paid in Greece, that to him alone of all the great men a statue was erected at Delphi, not gilded, but of solid gold. Those whom I have named, and many other most consummate masters in the art of speaking, flourished at the same time, from whose examples it may be understood that the truth is really such as you, Crassius, have stated, and that the name of the orator was distinguished among the ancients in Greece in a more extensive sense and with greater honor than among ourselves. I am therefore the more in doubt whether I should attribute a greater degree of praise to you or of blame to the Greeks, since you, born under a different language and manners, is in the busiest of cities, occupied either with almost all the private causes of the people, or with the government of the world, and the direction of the mightiest of empires, have mastered such numbers of subjects, and acquired so extensive a knowledge, and have united all this with the science and practice of one who is of authority in the republic by his counsels and eloquence, while they, born in an atmosphere of learning, ardently attached to such studies, but dissolved in idleness, have not only made no acquisitions, but have not even preserved as their own that which was left and consigned to them.